Yeah, there we go. I'll share the link soon after the recording. It'll take some time for it to process, but thankfully available. Hi everyone, and thanks for the warm introduction, Saish. It's good to see you all. Sorry for asking for this late evening today, but thanks for making it. First of all, it's really good that so many of you are really interested in taking this further. I'll start with a basic question, right? How many of you have heard of Git? You can just use the reactions. If you don't want to unmute, you can use the reactions and nice. So I'll just give a brief introduction. Probably you all don't need that much of an introduction over it, but why we particularly need it and why probably a lot of people are asking over it is if we, let's say, working on a code or any file for that matter, if we just send one file and the competitor or the company expects to see a team working over it, and if we just send one file, the company knows of only one thing. It's about the person who has sent the file. There is no way they can see if there are 4 people in the team, what 4 of them have done. This is the first purpose behind it, right? This is the purpose why a lot of companies ask for it. And I mean, lot of competitions ask for Git and the other kind of methods. The other thing which matter is while we are working on a collaboration. Now, when we are working on a collaboration, in brief, I'll not go into what that means in a very deep sense, but in brief, it basically means there is something which we all share and we do something over it, right? And how do we do it? We do it simultaneously. Correct? We do it simultaneously. So normally when we say that, when we collaborate, it is like we have shared, let's say, a paper, and then first I give it to you, you write something, then I give it to you, then you write something. That is not a collaboration, right? That's a flow. Collaboration happens when we work together at the same time, right? So if you have to imagine it like a big board. Your school board, right, is a perfect example of this, right? The big whiteboard, a very, very big whiteboard in which you are supposed to go and write something together. So a correct way of collaboration, maybe, let's say we want to draw a big diagram, right? What do? Is they would, one person can start drawing from this side, another person can start drawing from that side. That's the collaboration. Right? Passing a same paper to multiple people, that is not a collaboration, that is a flow. Another example where we particularly see this happening in engineering is when they build tunnel. And when they build a tunnel, they start building it from both the sides, right? Actually, simultaneously from both the sides. They don't say, okay, let this team start first, then we would see where they have reached, and then we will start drilling from this side. Right? They do it together. This is collaboration, right? So if let us say we are working together and there is the same code base over which we want to make something that has a UI, let us say we want to make a screen over which we can give some control buttons. We have to write some logic that is going to interface with the hardware. We have to probably experiment few things. How does this library work? How does that library work? How does this logic work? And probably there are 4 or 5 experiments we need to do. So we split it among ourselves simultaneously. They would do, and finally they would make one final change simultaneously, right? So this is essentially what a collaboration looks like. And when you do it using a tool like Git, what happens is, let's say if I am judging it, I can see an entire history. I'll show it to you in some time, right? I can see an entire history. And in that entire history, I can see who has made the change. It is always not one person. If whatever somebody has submitted, I can see it. right? So let us see some examples of it. Let me share the screen. I'll share one of my accounts, right? Share screen, and there you go. Let me know if you can see the screen, right? Can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, nice. So for that particular matter, right, let me show you one particular example, and that is something to do with Koju, right? And over here, you can see some interesting things. So if I go to something called as commits, now this is one final change. If I
Venkatesh,
pull this, I
better
will
see
get
this, huh?
everything,
Watch it.
right? Now, if I go here and click on commits, see what happens over it, right? I see everyone who has made a change in this resource or this shared item, right? Which is this folder in which I have put all the code. So I can see who has made that change. Right now, probably you might just see one, but here I can see another person there, right? I can see Lalit here, but then there is another person. And I know when he has committed. And it is not just that. I can also see what change he made, right? So go further. Again, there is that other person, right? In the same way, there is another person over there. And probably if as I go older, right, there will be many more people. But let me show you one particular thing. Let us say I want to check what this person has done, right? And I want to particularly know what they did. So what I would do is I'll sort of go and click here. It will tell me details of what happened. And it is exactly now telling me the file it changed. Please take a look at my mouse cursor. It is telling me what file it changed. It is saying they modified a code called Turkish API test.scala. And I completely know what they did. They removed line 678 and they replaced it with this line. And I can see what they have done, right? Essentially, they changed the line, but while it is showing it, it's showing as if they removed the line, there is minus here and ended the line, right? Then it is skipping a lot of part in between, and it is directly telling me this is the new line that got added. There is no minus here. It is a new line that got added, right? Then this line was removed. Take a look at how they have written it, okay? And they have said, okay, it should not be greater than 4,000. It should be greater than 1. And so on. So this is the change that this person has done on this particular date, November 12. One changed one file, made 3 additions and 3 deletions, right? Lot of details there. I can exactly see how every team member is contributing, and not just that. You can see a plus here. So if I was changed, or if I have a doubt why this particular thing was changed, I can click over here, write my comment there. And when I say submit, this comment will be there, available. In brief, you can see how interesting things can be done with this, right? So as a judge, I can see what people have done here. And where a lot of people fail when they say and participate in a competition, and where they lose rank especially, is only one person will make a commit. So essentially what they would do is, okay, earlier I would have probably zipped the source code and sent it. Now they have asked for Git. Okay, I'll make a commit in, I'll make a account in Git. I'll just copy that final code in the Git. I'll send it. No, this is no different from just sending the final code as a zip file, right? This is sure to lose ranks. What they actually want to see, and the reason why they are asking for Git is because they want to see how other team members have participated. So if you are participating as a team, start using Git early enough and start putting your changes on your own, right? So when I start seeing the changes, I can see, okay, on this day, so many people made these many changes on these many different files. First thing. Second is, I can also know a lot more details, right? This is an example of one commit. Then there are examples of what is called requests. So let us see if there are, right? So, okay, here there are 64 am I audible? Okay. So yeah, pull request. I think that was my network which got dropped in between. So can you now see? Can everyone see? Hello?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, okay, nice. So let us see here, right? So there is a pull request. I'll in short talk about what a pull request is, but let us quickly go. Here is somebody is saying fix code and samples, not use something, not use upcoming translations of keywords. Now, if I go here, he's saying, giving more details of what that is, right? He's saying, and some tweaks to Turkey translations, and I can see all the commits. So if you are working on, let's say, a big kind of feature, and you still want to keep a record, like, okay, this is one feature, but these are all the things that I worked on over it. Pull request kind of works over it, but that is not the purpose of it. That is the side effect of it, which any competition judge will get out of it. Right? So I can see, okay, this person made so many changes, and okay, he probably wanted to get the line following right, for example, or maybe he wanted to get the tracing logic right. So yeah, so this is what he did, and I can see it in all other places because otherwise it is scattered, right? And I also see what he did. He reverted some things, he made some changes and all that stuff. I can see all the commits that has happened in detail that this person did. Like if there are checks enabled, let's not go over there for now. And I can see in total, there involved 29 files that changed in doing this. I can see what all those files are. And for each of those files, I can sort of know what change occurred. Correct? And how they occur. Now, pull request again need not be just by one person. It can also be by a team. So there could be commits in this one pull request by other team members, but let's keep that aside for now. I can then give comments over it, just like how we saw, and do a lot of stuff. Why is this particularly useful here is, consider this, right? I'll give one particular different example. Okay. Let us go to my blog. Now, this is my blog, right? This was earlier hosted on WordPress. And the problem with WordPress that I eventually started realizing, right, was multifold. First of all, WordPress runs an entire PHP and database engine. Otherwise, WordPress cannot function. So I'm telling you my problem. Okay. So there is some cost involved over here for a blog that is largely just this. But that was not the reason why I had a problem with the WordPress. Now WordPress manages its account in a very, very integrated way. So the part where somebody can see the outcome is same part where somebody can log in as well. And the problem is, for some reason, if somebody can get access to either my server or my account, then it's like gone, right? It's very, very scary. There is no other nice way of doing it. I have to log in, I have to go and make a change over there. And there are no better ways of doing it. And on top of that, it runs an entire processing engine over it. So it's slow and all that kind of stuff. I migrated all entire site on Git. But keep in mind, this is a dynamic content. This is not like a static content, right? So, and there is no database here at all now. But I can dynamically add content to it, and I can talk about it, how that happens, right? So you can talk about, there is like a section here, right? There is there are 2 pages where I also talk about myself. Like this was very, very old. I haven't updated it recently, right? The only latest post has been in 29 June 2020. The oldest post has been from 2006. I've migrated everything that was there on WordPress to this, and it worked fine. And in a lot of places, somewhere down the line, probably you can see, I'm not sure whether it still works or not. There is, okay, yeah. So there are comments also, and you can see that comments have also taken place. So right now, probably I have not renewed my account, but they were there. And probably if I probably go and change it, I should see it again, right? There were comments on it, or let me just go really, really old one and possibly see whether I can find some where I know for sure I knew there were a lot of comments. Yeah, here. No, here. Yeah, can you still see there are comments here? So these comments were originally in WordPress. Now, when I obviously migrated to GitHub, there was no databases for somebody to dynamically add a comment on the post. So I used this particular service called as Discuss, and that gets integrated with this. And all of you can do this as well. It is not the case. Like Firebase provides you a lot of database services and admin panel and all that kind of stuff. So you can do something over there, host rest of the stuff in GitHub, and it is absolutely secure. And best of all, it's free. So GitHub pages come for free, right? You make a GitHub repository, you get your own GitHub pages set up free. We will see how to enable it. But is this part clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there are multiple ways. I'll start with the simplest one. So probably you can get started and start using it. I'll start with the simplest one today. We can obviously have more as you get comfortable. Now we are slowly talking about GitHub pages, right? And I can show you what it can do. So you can basically hold an entire documentation over it. Let me show you the code for this and where this code exists, right? And then I'll tell about some two problems which are here. Let's go and try and fix it. So, at the end, we'll talk about the pull request. So this is the repository, and I think probably I can just go to, and the repository is called, this is my other account. And let me quickly find the repository which is involved over here. Yeah. So the repository is called kamatanay.github.io. All right. So let's go over there. And this is the code for the entire blog. Every content that you see here, and right from the start here, is here in posts. Right. So the latest one, this is, I think, very, very first one, right, in 2006. And the latest one would be at the end. These are all the posts made over there. So if I need to make a post today, I will make a post. I'll give a date in this particular format, then just a title, which I want to see here. See, Goa COVID situation through company poem, right? And then I need to make some descriptions over there. Now, this is a special format called as Markdown. Don't worry about it. We'll start the very simplest thing. If you know about it, great. But let's go to the raw version of it. Yeah, so this is how it is written, right? No databases involved, no complicated things required. Just within these two lines, I'll say this is the ID of it. Obviously, I will increment it. Like if I'm making a new one, I'll make it 213. Then the title is, this is the title. This is the title that you see here, right? And then I will say, this is the date on which it is made. This is the author. This is the post. This is the GUID, right? Where this is going to come from. And this is the permanent link. So GUID isn't something that can internally change, but permanent link is the one that stays permanent. Now I sort of do not require GUID anymore because they are all static pages, right? So eventually when this thing gets compiled, it actually makes a folder called 2020 06 29, and then there is a directory called Goa COVID situation through company poem, and that is how it works. I've given it categories. These categories you can see here, my thoughts, right? Tags, your categories is my thoughts, and tags are probably you will see it somewhere at the end. Not sure, done it long back. And then this is the normal text. This whole text you can see is written here, and that text you can see here. Every other post is essentially like this. I'll simply come, make a new file over here, and describe what I want to say. There are some things where mistake or no mistake. This included a image. Let us see how that was done. So if I go and say raw. So did this include an image? No, but I think one of the other one did. Let's see which one. Yeah, so is this a real story? So let's go and talk about, is this a real story? So is this a real story? This included an image. You can see there is an image here. And how is it included? Again, I uploaded the image in my directory. I'll show you where those things are. Right? This is essentially the directory where things would go. Because this whole thing got copied from WordPress, it created that structure of the WordPress in the repository. But essentially, if you go and check, all of them, right? All of them, right, would be here. There is a folder here called WP content uploads. So if I need to do something now, I'll simply upload one file here and give a link to it. That's it. And that too, I'll just take a copy of this, make a change over there and upload it. For now, the way this works is because there is this whole layout over here. If I can change the layout separately, and I can change my post separately. In the post, there is no mention of layout, so I can change them anytime. It's quite declarative in that sense. So it automatically builds it. If we see, let us solve one problem, right? That is there over here. So if I probably go right down, one problem I see is it says 2020. That is not correct, right? So I probably should start from the oldest time, which is, if you see, the oldest one was written in 2006. So I should probably now update it saying 2006 to 2022. Let us quickly do that. And let us see how fast it is, and it will impact everywhere else. It would take some time for it to make that change and quickly be available everywhere because it compiles them as a static file. So let us quickly do that. So let us first find where it is written, right? So it is in layouts because I created this code, right? So I know about it. It is in layout, and I know that there is this default layout, right? There is this page. If you see, everything is over here and there is a footer here. So let us go to footer. It won't be here, but it will probably there in includes. So let's quickly see footer. There is a footer, yeah, site footer. And here we exactly see, right? This is the time in which it got compiled. The whole thing was compiled, right? So this is correct. It will always update whenever I have updated the content, right? Because the last content got updated in 2020. Is that right? Yeah. Last got updated in 2020. This says 2020, but I know my starting content is always 2006. So let us make that small change here. Let us make that commit. Let us wait for some time and we will see that change reflecting everywhere. Right? So, and keep in mind, right? This is a normal HTML, right? Just a plain normal HTML. There is no PHP and anything over here. Plain normal HTML, except obviously this include fonts and everything. So what I'm going to do is one way to do it, if I want to do it right in the GitHub interface, is I'm going to say edit. Right? And all I need to do here is say 2006 to this. That is the only change I need to make. Preview would look something like this, right? And this is the file I need to make a change, correct? Now let us make a commit. I don't want to say it is just an updates to site folder. I will just say includes the starting date of my of that starting date, starting year, right? Or start year in the copyright note. Correct? Directly say, okay, directly commit to the master branch, that is fine. Commit. Done. Now this change has taken place. What it is going to do in actions is, if you see, it is now building it. Let us quickly go and see what it is trying to do inside, right? It's in build process. It is setting up a job. In some time, it will build all the pages, it will generate all the pages, and all that change, right, will be available in the blog permanently. So while this is happening, it would take some bit amount of time. Pretty useful for a content that you want to do quick enough, for content that you just directly update. I think one issue that is there over here is probably I'll need to fix it, and then we can have another session. Is this is a very old version of one of the theme that I had, and it's saying that this particular option was not found, so it failed. I'll fix it eventually when I get time, and then this whole thing will get fixed. I'll probably need to upgrade the Ruby version or something like that. But you don't need to go that complicated, right? There are modern tools available. When I did it, it was a long time back. There are modern tools available nowadays which can do this far better way. There are tools which are written in Go, for example, Go programming language. You don't need to rely on Ruby. The best part about Go is it just gets compiled into native. So you don't need to depend on a lot of updates to this library and that library kind of stuff. Anyways, let us go back to where we were. And let us create a GitHub page here. How about that? Should we? One sample GitHub page we would do, quick enough, right? Not using any complicated libraries, just a brief one if we really need to see that working. Right? What I'll do is I'll go and create a repository. Let me create a new one here, right? And I will say, let us say, hello page. And it tells me that this name is available because I have not used it before. I'll make it public for now. And then let us say, initialize this repository, correct? And let us try collaborating right now. If you have your own GitHub account, right? I'll tell you how you can collaborate on it rightly and make those changes possible, right? Let us quickly do that. Initialize this repository. I don't want a README file, okay? This is just a normal thing. I don't want to include GitHub, Gitignore also. I don't want to add a license also. I'm just creating a very, very simple thing, okay? Let's create a repository. Fine. I've created a repository. It's done right here. It quickly explains how you can get going. I'll not go to command line for today. Right? I'll at least expect all of you to at least start with this and try it out, play it out. And as you get comfortable, let us have this. Command lines are easy. I'm not sure how often you have used it. Do not get scared of it. Command line is very, very effective. Just at the start, it feels bit, strangest kind of thing. Like you need to type a lot of stuff, but you don't need to. A lot of things get auto-completed, and after one or two tries, right, you just know there are one or two commands. That's it. It can do a lot of stuff. So I have my hello page, and there is nothing over here. So does this give me an option to add something? Let us quickly see, right? Set up or create, get started in creating a new file or uploading a new file. So let us simply say create a new file. It allows me to do it right here. I'll call this file index.html. And this is the branch main. Let us quickly type. This is an HTML file, right? So normal HTML. Right? I'll say head. So there is going to be head, body. Obviously, there are a lot of good text to include, but for now, I will simply say title is hello page. And in body, let us say H1. This is the title. Normal, simple HTML. I'll go down and say creates the first sample index page. Now this will go in my name. So we'll see what it can do, okay, in some time. So commit. Now this created the first sample page. Now how will it be accessible on the site? Let us see an example of that. So what I would do is I'll go to settings, right? In the settings, I have this option called pages. So let's go over there. And then it is saying obviously deploy from branch, and I'll say, yeah, which branch, and I'll say main. And I want this to be select a source below to enable GitHub pages for this repository. Yes. I would say, yeah, just put it in roots, or I can start putting things in docs, right? I'll just say put it in the root for now. And right, save. Done. It also tells me, so if you remember, I had used Jekyll, right? Again, define custom domains. I can show you example of how that is done. And I can also say HTTPS. So one particular advantage, if you have seen, so HTTPS, right? And I can say www.anaykamat.com. And this actually has an HTTPS added to it for free, right? That's another advantage. So yeah, now it is also telling me that the site is github.io, right? So let's wait for some time. And this is done, right? It's currently being built from the main branch. Okay, it's telling me that it is currently being built. Let's wait for some time. Let me refresh, and there you go. It's already telling me your site is live here, right? So let's go. Hello page, there you go. That was fast, right? And I have HTTPS enabled, right? So now, anyone has a GitHub account? Open, logged in right now?
Yes, sir. Just now.
Okay. Let us collaborate and make a change possible. All right. So what we would do, right? Try to go to this page, github.com/anay/hello page. Go to this link, or I can share it in the chat. Would you like, okay, once you open it, would you like to share your screen, Aniket?
Yes, open.
Okay. So if you would like to share, can you share your screen? So we'll walk so everyone can see now what is happening, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll stop the screen share, and anyone of you can.
So can I?
Yeah, anyone. Absolutely no problem. Great. Correct. Now you have logged in from your account. You have no access to my account. Take a look at this, for example. Okay, you have no access to my account. You cannot modify my file. You cannot modify anything in my account. But still, you can make a change possible in a way that I would know it. I can decide whether to include it or not. And in the final list, it will include your name. This is most important in collaboration, right? Everybody's role and everybody's contribution gets acknowledged. It's not like only one person says, and people will know about the whole thing only if that one person decides to talk about the team. So let's make a quick change here, right? Do you see an option called fork here? On top right, on top, you can see watch, right? there is an option called watch. Let me use an annotation. And next to it, there is an option called fork. Right? Click on fork. And you will see what has happened. Right? It is creating it in your account now. So just say fine, this is fine. You can copy the main branch only, that is fine. Create a fork. Click the button. And you will see what it has done now. Did you see the change now? First of all, it is telling everybody looking at this that, okay, this is the hello page of Aniket Bhatikar Creations account, but it is forked from my account. So there is a link. The reference is made available directly. Correct? But now he has my copy. And Aniket, let us do one thing. Can you open the index.html file? Just click on it. Nice cursor, by the way. So can you see a pencil icon here? Just next to the file, right? There is a raw, blame, and pencil icon. So just say edit this file. Right? You get here. How about you change either the title or something in the page? Change anything. Nice. Cool. Go down. And let us make a commit. Scroll down. You use the scroll bar, right? Because otherwise it won't work. Yeah. And now write something here in the commit section. So I would know what you have done. Oh, no, not in the description, in the commit, the first one. It says updates index.html. Probably you say change the description or something. Okay, fine. And say commit the change. What has happened now is this change, which Aniket did freely without my approval, he's free to do it. But it is not going to reflect on my page. Correct? It is not yet reflecting on my page. You can see it, for example. Let me send a link right now to you. And let us see whether this change is reflecting in your account, right? So where did Zoom go? Okay, so I'll share it again in chat. Can you open this link, Aniket, in another tab? So this is not yet changed, and it won't change because this is my page, right? So my account is secure. You are free to make your changes, but that is not impacting mine. Correct? Now let us make your change possible in my change while everybody can see that this came from Aniket. We'll see how to do it. Go to your repository now, Aniket, and you see pull request option there next to code. Up, just below the title of your this way. No, up. Go up in the slightly up, one step up. Yeah, pull request. Correct. Now let us create a new pull request. Yes. If you see now what it is trying to do, right? It is saying base repository on top, right? Let me use annotation, right? So that will actually help me. Let me use the annotations option. Where did that go? A lot of changes has happened recently to Zoom also, it looks like. So maybe I need to do this. And then I can, where is annotate option? Strange, for some weird reason, I don't see annotate option here. Anyways, do you see this base repository just below? So it starts with like this, right? Code, then comparing changes. Comparing changes. Below that, you see that the base repository is mine. Correct? My branch main is going to get changes from the head repository, which is Aniket's repository, and his branch main. And the changes look like this. And now what Aniket is going to do is Aniket is going to say if he's fine with it, if he wants this to be reflected on my site, he'll say create a pull request. Right? If he wants to give me a message why he wants this change to be included, he can type it in the comment. Okay? There is a right? Leave a comment. It says write, leave a comment in the text box below. Can you see it? No? Yeah. So you can leave a message to me why you want this change to be merged or something like that, because I probably may not know, right? You need not call me and tell me separately. You can just type in a message here of why should I make this. You can say that this is your experiment or something like that. And then say create a pull request. Can you try that, Aniket?
So what should I write?
Just write anything, like, that you probably just say that, I'm doing this as part of the experiment, include my changes. This is just a message for me.
Just to inform sir that what changes you have done and whether he agrees to it or not. So you are consolidating whatever changes you have made. So just say that I have changed the title so that he will agree to or disagree to it later.
Yes, that is good. But this is also fine for now. But just make sure that when you're doing it, do it properly, right? Now it's telling a lot of things. Let us not talk about the conflicts that it is talking about below. But what I'll do now is I'll share my screen and I'll tell you what is happening. Okay, so share screen. And where did the screen go? Yes, share. Can you see it now? Right? You can see this is the title, right? What can you see on the screen? Can you tell me that?
This is the title.
Yeah, this is the title, correct? If I again try updating it, right, it has still not made the change. And it won't. Because if I go to my index.html and even if I refresh it, right, nothing has changed here. Right? But I know something. If you see pull request, there is one pull request there. And I can go and open it and I can see, okay, Aniket Bhatikar has updated the title. I can say very well. Let me click on it. And I can see, okay, Aniket Bhatikar was trying to explore something. It also telling me that this is not been deployed as yet. So it's telling me, don't get panicked. And then I can see what change he has done. So this is the commit that he has. Don't worry about the checks right now. Let's go and see file change. Oh, he changed to Legogoa Axiom. Right? Now I can do two things. I can just show you an example, right? See, I have given a comment, and this is going to stay. So see, it can also tell you, like, it can show. It shows on the main page that I have made this particular comment on a particular line on the code, not anywhere, not blank. Particular line on the code or a particular line in the file. This is very, very powerful, and this is going to stay. Right? Aniket can choose to reply to it. No, but in any case, I can go down because this is my account, right? So I have full permission, and I can say it has no conflict. Everything is fine. I am going to merge the pull request. Okay? So merge the pull request. So this is the pull request that is going to happen. I'm going to confirm the merge. Now this has been made. This will go as a change in my code. And if I go back to my code, you see, and if I now open index.html, this change is available here. Can you see it? Can all of you see it? But that is not all. I'll show you something very, very important here. See, this is my account, but I can see who made the change. Aniket Bhatikar has no access to my account, right? But still, his name and his changes he could put in my list. So if I go to code and talk about that the 3 commits now, and if I go and see, I can see as a judge, I can see which all team members have made the change. No team member can off their mind go and make changes in somebody's approval. That is fine. Approval processes are sometimes fine, right? The proper Git flow in proper Git method, you don't even need to go for an approval. There are better methods to do it. But generally we are worried, right? What if somebody by mistake just does something? So this is a perfect example. I have not given any write access to Aniket. Aniket did it on his code. He forked from me, and then he pushed that change into my code, right? This is the basics. The only thing, if you need to fork something, right, you need to be a private, this repository needs to be public. If this is a private repository, which generally you would probably do depending on your rules, because if you make a private repository, you'll probably need to add everybody's account to it, including the judge's account. So I think they are expecting public repository only. So this flow will hold true, but this is the advantage. Now, if I go to actions, it just says, yes, it did 49 seconds back, right? 2 minutes ago. And yeah, it did something, it built something. No, this is it, even though it is building it with Jekyll pages, right? There is a version change here. It builds something and then it uploads it. So this is the entire process. I can see what it did, right? Then finally it is telling me that it has completed successfully, and it is deploying to GitHub pages, right? Automatically, would do everything automatically for me. I didn't even write a single code for it. And then the job is completed. Final thing is over here, correct? And if I sort of need to see where this happened, pages deployment, right? I can go to settings. I can also probably go to pages and see that this change is already done. It's not being built or something like that. And let me go and receive. This is my account, okay? And if I now refresh it, the change is here. Collaboration, right? And why only Aniket, right? Why only Aniket, right? All of you could have made the change simultaneously. All of you could have raised a pull request simultaneously. I could have chosen the one that I want to take. And not just that, the better part is still there. I may choose somebody, and then one of you might say, no, actually my change was correct, right? I can then approve it again. Absolutely not problem. Then this will get approved, this change will get approved, and that change will reflect. But at every point of time, right, if I go to the code, I would see in the commits who all have participated in doing this. And this is simultaneously happening. We actually didn't see a lot of simultaneous things today. That is the main power of it, right? And it is not very complicated. You can do these things in Google Docs. It sort of maintains a history and all that kind of stuff. But the problem is that works only with docs, right? You can't host a site with Google Docs, for example. Here you can. You can define your template, you can define your structure, you can start very simple just with basic HTML. You can go little more deeper where the site gets built by a code and there is no database engine working out over here, right? So in brief, at this point, what I've mentioned is why Git, right? From the collaboration perspective and also from the perspective of why judges would expect to see it. Right? So keep that in mind. Judges would want to see your name coming here. If you are saying there are 4 team members, they would want to see 4 team names there. Just keep that in mind. I can also go and see insights, right? I can see everything. I can see contributors, who all have contributed, right? So can you see here? It's loading the contributions. It's giving me all the analytics of how the team has performed, right? You can see that these many commits have happened. All right, Aniket has made 1 change. Anay has made 1 change. Right? 2 people have participated. I can see what change they did. I can go and click here and see what not here exactly, but you know, in Aniket's account also I can see that he has been committing to my repository. Right? What more do you need? If there is a bigger community, you can see that also, how many people have forked this repository, right? You can see that as well. And overall pulse. Right? So how this has happened, right? There has been 1 active pull request. There has been 0 active issues, right? 2 people have contributed to it. Like, take a look at this. Excluding merges, 2 authors have pushed 2 commits to main and 2 commits to all branches. On main, 0 files have changed, and there has been 0 additions and 0 deletions. Good enough? Right? See. So think it from the judge's perspective, right? Everything that let's say if he is doing this hackathon live in front of them, they would have seen how you are working. In remote, they can't. So this is the perfect way they can see how the team has been working. Any questions? No questions.
So has everybody managed to do create their own account, GitHub account?
Yes.
Okay. So have you been able to access that hello page of Anay sir?
Yes, sir.
Have you been able to fork it?
No, forking isn't make here.
Please try to fork that page. I think let's keep that as an homework then. Please fork his page and suggest some changes and let him accept. That's how we can progress over this lesson.
So another best part, you can see that I already know how many people have forked it.
Oh, fantastic.
Right, and I also know who, like, you know, this is obviously like, you know, asking for a fork, but I can essentially see what has happened to it. Because if I go to insights, right, it is going to now tell me in contributors, right, or in somewhere else.
Anyone else has forked it? Ask him.
Yeah, there are 6 forks here, right? I can see it here.
Huh.
Yeah, kids are smart. Good.
He has not shared that screen.
And-
I can't see that in this.
Here. Can you see
Ah.
here? Yeah. Here. Right?
Yeah.
So while
Yeah.
2 commits have, 2 authors have pushed at this moment, there are 6 forks. So this is about community discussions and everything.
So
And I can go to forks. Yeah. All the folks here, and I can see who all have done it live during the session.
Cool. So I think we would need more sessions to get into it, right? So we will have 1 more session. So whenever you have free, and we could take it forward from there.
Sure.
If you
But I
would like
think,
to do some homework also, that's also fine.
yes, one thing I would really like to see is everybody creating the repository. This is the simplest way to get started, right? Without any complicated tech jargons, command prompt or anything. So one thing I would really like to see is if you can create, like, you know, collaborate and create account for your project, and create like a site for it. Don't worry about anything. Just make a normal HTML site, and all of you contribute towards it.
The class is over. It's only question answer.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
class is over.
Fantastic. Thank you and good night. You could stop the recording, I guess.
Yes, I'll do that.
Any questions? Somebody having?